So this whole argument in the industry about 60 FPS versus 30 FPS, in my opinion, is pretty stupid. There really shouldn't be an argument. 60 FPS should be the standard, and I feel like console players especially should not be dealing with this. They should be, raising hell, saying we don't want this. This is not what we want. They shouldn't be saying, "Oh, this is great," and defending 30 FPS, because it shouldn't be the standard. It makes games feel clunky. Games just feel naturally better at 60 FPS. They really do, and that's what we want. We want responsiveness in our video games. We don't want this kind of delay to everything, even to the slightest. We don't like that, and I just think that people defending it, they really are just blindly defending it. I think most people that are defending it have really never played maybe even some of their favorite games in 60 compared to 30, so they just think 30 is perfectly fine because that's the only time they've ever played that. Really, the whole defense force on 30 FPS usually goes to these terms, at least for the PR guys and video game developers. They go to these terms that consist of words like filmic, or one of my favorites, cinematic experience. Yeah, that's a really good one. Cinematic experience. Where did that fucking come from? Really, where did that come from? I thought you were trying to sell me a fucking video game, not a goddamn movie. If you wanted to make movies, go fucking make a movie. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. But please stop trying to turn games into movies. Don't get me wrong, I like cutscenes and all that type of shit, and cutscenes truthfully can be at 30 FPS. But the gameplay, the stuff we're fucking playing, guys, that needs to be at 60 FPS. Truthfully, for me at least, ever since I got my PC, it's hard for me to go back and play any game at 30 FPS anymore. It's just rough, man. It sucks. It really does. It's not that good. At least modern games. I can go back and play like Luigi's Mansion or something. But modern games now, it's really hard for me to even do it. So, I don't know. It's just, I really think they shouldn't be dealing with this. Console players should not be dealing with this in the new consoles, because it seems like every developer now is backing down and saying, well, 30 FPS is the way to go. 30 FPS is the way to go. I mean, what idea are they wanting? What are they banking on here? At least from what I can see, is that they expect people to go into Walmart or something and look at a TV and say, wow, look at this movie, it looks so cool. And then somebody's gonna be like, that's not a movie, that's a video game. And then the guy or the lady is gonna be like, oh my god, I instantly have to go and buy this $400 console just so I can play this one game. That's probably not gonna happen. And if it does, fine, you made one sale, but I bet the attach rate for this person or the casual market as a whole that will be surprised by just the visual presentation alone will not be buying a lot of games continuously. This has been proven multiple times. Even Nintendo, or at least Miyamoto, has said the casual market's not really worth the time at all. So why does the industry as a whole keep wanting to make their games look better? I mean, I understand, yes, we want games to evolve and look prettier, but they want to evolve so fast. So fucking fast. When Halo 6 comes out, they're gonna want to make Halo 5 look like complete fucking dog shit. They don't want anybody to look at Halo 5 anymore and be like, oh man, that game looked great. They're gonna look at Halo 6 and man, look how amazing that game looks. Compared to 5, it looks like shit now. They don't just want to like hop over these games, they want to fucking leap. They want to go leaps and bounds above their own little sequel in the same generation. So I think that is hurting the industry in ways. This is why games keep going up in price by miles, because they have to keep making the games look prettier and prettier and prettier and prettier and have better set pieces and all this kind of stuff to make it look like a cinematic experience. That hampers, with doing all of that, that hampers other things a part of the game, including really the experience of playing it, which is the frames per second. That should be one of the most important things in making a video game, is the gameplay. And I think the focus isn't that anymore. I mean, look at games like The Order 1886. The game itself, yes, it does look good graphically. You can look at it and say, that looks pretty. Stuff like that. The presentation looks cool. In a way, yeah, it looks like a movie or whatever. But then you look at the gameplay, at least I have. I mean, it looks like a boring third-person shooter. It really is. It's just a boring fucking third-person shooter. There is nothing exciting. Even like just watching the gameplay without anybody talking behind it, just the sounds of the game, it's fucking boring. it is so boring, and that's not what I want. And of course, you know, I guess they really do want it to be a movie because what? There's like parts you could press a button and the guy will just shoot everybody, like on the screen or whatever. Is that what they really want? Is this what we want in games now? We just want the game to look pretty so we can hold up and they'll do everything for you, and then press one button so they'll go through a cutscene of moving stuff behind, you know, moving shit or placing a bomb or something. And then there's those few sections that are, as they like to say, gamey, where you have to shoot stuff. I mean, for fuck's sake, man. If you want to make a movie, just make a fucking movie. Why are you making video games? This is one of my biggest things, is that I think video games haven't found the complete... I mean, it's obvious. Video games have not found the complete way, the perfect way of making a video game yet. For the most part. I'm sure you could argue with Tetris and stuff like that. But I think in a modern sense of trying to tell this story and also be a fun game and also, you know, yada yada yada. We haven't found that yet. And that's fine. But I think the way we're going is not the right way. Completely hampering gameplay just so your game can look pretty and I guess tell a meaningful story at the same time is not a good way to make a game. It just completely cuts off the industry. This is why games keep costing more and more and more. Jesus Christ, I would not want to look at the price of how much the Order 1886 cost, or any game at that. Halo 5, I bet the price for that's going to be fucking ridiculous, or already is, really. This just isn't the right way to go. And I hope maybe one day, maybe in the next generation, they'll actually try to set the standard to 60 FPS. This 30 FPS stuff is just stupid. We should not be doing this anymore. For almost any game. There are certain games I'm sure they can get away if that's their artistic vision, whatever the hell they want to do. But for the most part, it needs to be 60. It really does. This needs to stop. And I'm so sick. I feel bad for the console players because this is what they, or at least for the Xbox and PlayStation players, because this is what they have to deal with for the most part. Hell, even Nintendo understands. Almost every game on this tiny list of games I have runs at 60 FPS. What the? I mean, there are barely any games on the Wii U, at least, well, that I can think of, that aren't trying to do 60 at 1080. I think Nintendo, I think they already have for a certain amount of games, but they're going to sacrifice resolution for that frame rate, which is the better idea. Microsoft, Sony, any other company that is, or developer that is making games, it's fine. You can sacrifice some visual qualities. It's fine. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. Even when I'm playing a PC game, I will turn down some options if I have to get solid 60. That's what I want. I want the game to feel good. If the game doesn't look as good, fine, whatever. It doesn't hurt me that much. Maybe one day we'll finally be able to hit that perfect medium. But as of right now, you guys need to stop pumping out these visual masterpieces, you know, stuff to look just like Christopher Nolan movies or something. Stop. Worry about the gameplay first. That's always the most important part to a game. So I know I'm kind of going all over the place in this video, and I apologize for that. This is something I'm still trying to get used to, but this is a rant. I'm just kind of going off on a tangent here. But to kind of sum it up, basically, I just want 60 FPS to be the standard in gaming. I think it's the better way to do it. And anybody that's defending 30 FPS is either A, lying, or B, really hasn't played a lot of 60 FPS. Go and play some games. If you could, I don't know, if you have a friend or something that has a better computer or something, go and play BioShock Infinite or something, or whatever. I don't know why I keep using that game as an example. It's not the Hail Mary of all games or something, but just any game that you really liked, that you played a lot, go play it at 30 and then switch over and play it at 60. It will blow your fucking mind at how different it is and how much better it is. That's it. That's really all I gotta say, you know? That's the answer there. At least I'd say that's the answer. I think for the most part, most people will come out of that saying, yes, 60 is better. 60 should be the standard. And for developers, you don't need to make your games leaps and bounds better than the other game, the sequel or whatever. Naturally, games are going to feel better if you can make the standard 60. Games are going to feel better than they did before, and people are going to like that. And then you can work on the visuals. You don't have to do these huge differences. Start slow, guys. Really, start slow and move up. That's kind of how it was on, I think, on the 360 and stuff. They started slow and they moved up. Even, well, I was gonna say PS2, but then MGS2 was kind of a launch title, wasn't it, around that time? And that game was really good. It looked really good. It wasn't really a launch. It was kind of in the window, I think. I can't remember. Either way, start slow, because I think that's the biggest problem. This is why a lot of the games aren't running perfectly. Especially that's why they got to keep aiming for 30s, because a lot of these developers probably just don't understand these consoles. They're not used to it yet. Take your time, guys. Go for the standard, and then once you've worked a couple games on it, then say, alright, now we can do this, you know? I mean, for example, hell, look at Naughty Dog. Look at Uncharted 1 all the way to The Last of Us. There's a huge difference, and I like that. I think these guys are aiming for the fucking skies. And then once they've already aimed for the skies and probably failed a couple of times, then they'll say, oh yeah, we're making video games. I forgot about that. You don't need to make these visual powerhouses. Just make a video game, please. Stop making these games that don't play that well, but they look good. I'm so done with that. The standard needs to be 60. It really does. And I think, hopefully, if consoles really start doing it, maybe next generation will finally get it. I think players will begin to agree, and developers will finally open up and say, yes, they agree. And hopefully that'll just be the pure standard. I'm so done. I'm really done. Really done with this 30 FPS stuff. For the most part, once again, there are certain games that can do it, but for the most part, I think for most games, 60 is the standard. Thank you for listening. And by the way, leave comments below if you want. Disagree with me, agree with me, whatever. I don't care. Argue about Jesus or something down there. Whatever.